Welcome to episode 8 of Jits Quips, the #1 podcast for Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in the Northwest. Live, I should say. Joining us today we have Josh, who is our relative beginner, still on the beginner's course, so white belt, training out of Trident martial arts gym. Then we have Rhys Shakeshaft, a staple on the show, regular, blue belt, also training out of Trident martial arts gym. Then we have Ellis, training out of Resilience Gym, first time on the show, blue belt as well. Mm-hmm. And then we have Duffy, Anthony,
What's happening?
A brown belt, training out of martial arts gym. And then we have Kev, black belt, head coach at Resilience Gym. And thanks for joining us today, guys. So, I mean, I feel privileged today that we've got such a fantastic panel. So welcome. So today is going to look like we're going to have a little chat about our passion, BJJ. And then we're going to do some roles. So the roles are going to be, first of all, we are going to have Ant versus Josh, okay? Just to see the contrast between an elite level and a beginner. Can I say that?
Probably not, no, but I'll let
What bracket you compete in?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I like to think brown belt is elite.
Yeah, according to Empire Grappling it is anyway, so
Okay.
I'll go with that.
Go with that.
Being called ways.
And then, so first of all, it's going to be Ant and Josh. Then we're going to have Ellis and Rhys, so blue belt battle with a bit of a weight disparity there. And then we're going to see Kev and Ant. So that's brown belt versus black belt. So hopefully we'll what we're expecting to see is a bit of a contrast between the levels.
Gi match, that one, isn't it?
It's a gi match, yeah? Do you want to...
See that over there?
No,
Got dug out the other day.
I forgot mine. We'll have to beat the gi one.
Mad that. I think I've got a spell.
But I did train too much gi this week.
And do you think you'd beat Kevin a gi match?
Absolutely
You do way
not.
better. You do way better.
I think we both do worse.
Yeah.
Right,
Let's put it that way, yeah.
Interesting. Like gi is the part of the game that I really know nothing about.
Yeah.
I've done one gi session, so I don't think I'm going to go down the road of getting the gi on either.
The thing is, Greg's a climber, and climbers are naturally quite good at the gi because you've got the grip strength.
Tensile
Yeah.
strength.
You don't have all the time in the world. You're best just train on one thing.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
that's my
Yeah.
that's my frame of mind right now. Okay, so I wanted to talk about slipping out of training because that's where I am right now. So since I got promoted to blue belt, I've trained twice, I think. And then the second time I trained, I cut my finger and it got infected. I didn't respect it. I went climbing, I climbed through the pain. It fizzed up and I've had to have a course of oral antibiotics.
Yeah, infected.
And so I've finished the antibiotics, but I'm just going to wait another half a week because I made the mistake last year of training. They said you're not, I got staph, went on the oral antibiotics. They said I could train as soon as I finished the course of antibiotics, went back and got a skin infection straight away after. And apparently that's because after the antibiotics, your defences are low against it. So.
Staph is also very reoccurring. Once you get it once,
You're more
it
susceptible
takes
to
a
it.
while. It leaves marks on your skin that are prone to getting it again.
Yeah.
Infection sites are prone to reinfecting.
Can I just say as well, infections aside, with you taking that hiatus after just being promoted to your blue belt, that's pretty unique in that, Greg. I mean, not often people get promoted at blue belts and then never turn into the gym ever again.
Wait, is that serious? Or? No, okay,
it's fucking common. It's called blue beltitis.
Yes.
Blue
belt
get
blues.
promoted, get a blue belt, and then
The next level's so far away.
You
You
take
spend
like,
all this time getting to
you're
blue
after what
belt.
you're doing after that.
it takes a couple of years and you think, I've got there now, and then what you work for, because
Another
purple
one.
belt's another 2
Another
years away or something. So.
Your life has also changed drastically from when you started. It's like 2 years later, you're probably going to have more responsibilities, so your training time's going to be slightly lower. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you get older, you have more responsibilities, so you can train less. Your life.
More shit going on. Like you said as well, though, that, I mean, I was only joking there. Obviously, you had legit reason to be out the gym, but the gap between not just the timeline, but skill level. I mean, once you, for most people, once you're getting into purple belts onwards, you've got half a game. You've got a sort of idea of what you want to do. You're committed to training. Do you know what I mean? There's stuff outside the gym that you're doing to complement your training. And yeah, some people they'll get promoted, they'll get to the blue belt, and then life goes on, or they lose interest, or something like that will happen. So yeah, most people get the blue belt and then don't bother going.
It's like at blue belt, you're already better than 90% of the population of the planet, right?
Yeah.
So you can be like sort of like satisfied with that accomplishment. Yeah, I sort of want to put it out there that I haven't got blue beltitis. It's just circumstances which is keeping me away from the gym, and I mean, I keep saying this, I'm relatively getting on for a new jiu-jitsu practitioner, and I need to make sure that I'm healthy when I practice jiu-jitsu. So yeah, were you saying that like once you get to say purple belt level, sort of like the black belt's in sight, so you got more of a reason to continue with the practice?
Yeah, so, excuse me, so I think for most people, once they're promoted to purple belt, they're there then, aren't they? They're on with, like, it's only, you're going to be getting your black belts. It's very rare people are going to quit, even though some people might do. But the gap is also daunting as well, because, like, you can have someone that's promoted to blue belt and they've been promoted because they've been attending classes and they get a blue belt, and then you can have someone that's absolutely flying and they'll be training 8 days a week and they'll be competing as often as possible, but then still the gap between that and then purple belts, it's daunting. Do you know what I mean? You see some of these purple belt competitors especially, and the difference between them and someone that's just got the blue belt through training a couple of times a week as a hobby is too vast, isn't it? People are like, fuck that.
The fact that you even mentioned that you could take 90% of the people in the world is just one of the wildest things you could ever say. It's a non-factor in why you should be doing martial arts. Martial arts is only for me. And I don't do it to go and punch loads of heads in. Do it because I like doing it. Doesn't matter how many of the world I could beat up, I do it because I enjoy it.
Kev, do you never find yourself in a situation where you're like in a room with lots of people and you're like, I could sub every single person?
No, I used to when I was an egotistical child. I'm not a child anymore.
How old are you, Kev?
31. I just look 45.
You don't?
The main thing, I used to be crazy egotistical about it, but as I've got better, nobody's even asked. I used to tell people all the time, I do loads of jiu-jitsu, and nobody's even asked. Even me birds, me ma, nobody even cares. And I'm real good at it.
But isn't that the like, that's the point, isn't it? Because when you do start and your knowledge and your skill level is limited, then you do sort of, for most people, especially men especially, you do sort of want to put it out there. You want people to know about this new fucking superpower, this new skill that you've developed. You want people to know about that. But then the longer you're doing it, the more you realise, for most of us, how good you're not, because you see that about you're getting smoked regularly, and then these people that are giving you a fucking hiding on a daily basis, you know, they might go to the seminar or they might go and train at another gym, B team for example, over in the States, and people do it to them. So it makes you less...
It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Dunning-Kruger effect.
So people who are novices have a crazy amount of passion for it, and they think they know the world and they don't know nothing. The ignorance to the lack of knowledge. I can't remember that word. What's it called? Ignorance to the ignorance.
They don't know what they don't know.
I was talking to you about that a second ago, where it's like the stages of skill acquisition for anything is unconscious incompetence, then conscious incompetence, and then conscious competence, and then unconscious competence.
Yeah, that's good.
You kind of become aware that you suck, and then you actually start gaining skills because you can then kind of start breaking it down, and then it becomes something that you don't have to think about anymore.
Yeah.
You can just employ it like a tool or like a brush, and that's when you see. When you were talking about it being an art, that's like when you see black belts who really grab it, or in anything. They don't have to think about the bases anymore, about those basal tools. They just wield them how they want to, or they even alter it in ways that you don't expect it to.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. We can just go dead quick off the back of that, Greg. I remember they only used like the belt as a timeline for it. I remember having a daunting moment at blue belt and going, oh fuck, and realising how vast it is, how many things, and like, I'm not gonna fucking learn all, how the fuck am I gonna learn all this? And then having like a fucking chat with me coach and being like, I'm not gonna fucking, how am I gonna learn all this? There's too many things, almost to the fact that you wanna go, there's no point. And then he said to me, you don't need to know everything, you just need to know the bits that you, and then that ties in with being art and putting it into your game. He was like, just fucking relax and do it because you're enjoying it. Just turn up and fucking enjoy what you're doing.
So what were you saying about the Dunning-Kruger effect? Was it?
It's when you first find something, you're like super positive and you think you know the world and you think you can beat everybody, and then there'll be a point where it hits you where you meet people who are real experts at the game and they just batter you and it's dead easy for them and you don't understand it. You're like, I put in all the work, I train all the time, and then there's people that just iron you out and it's nonsense.
You get a long valley of despair, and then at some point you're like, okay, I'm not trash anymore.
It's because you can gain so much. So when you first start, like everything's new, everything's fresh. You went from 0 to 1's infinity. Do you know what I mean? 1 to 2's only 100%. 2 to 3's 50%. It diminishes as you go. So as you get better, the rewards, your actual jiu-jitsu doesn't get that much better. Do you know what I mean then? It's only small, minute details.
Yeah.
You're not learning a new triangle.
Trajectory for your skill improvements is going to apply.
It's not infinite. It's not exponential growth. Like,
Showing a new white belt how to bridge and roll out on mount, there's no equivalent to that at a black belt level where you can have such a massive improvement in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
you're not going to learn any new moves or nothing.
Yeah. Like you
Well,
can
you
get
will.
better, but it's going to take a long time of studying it. You can't just go do this little thing and then something clicks and then...
Somebody does though. That happens all the time. Like, especially with people who are better than me. I'll be fucking it, and I don't know I'm fucking it. And then they'll be like, do it this way, and then they'll fix it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing where when you're a bit more experienced, they're the exciting things when somebody shows you a variation on a grip or a reason why something that you thought you knew, but it's not quite working. High percent of the time they'll go, well, do this, or put your hips here, or whatever it is, and then you'll go, oh my God, this is it, I've got this.
But it's not new, it's a small variation on what we already know.
Yeah.
So the Dunning-Kruger effect, I hope that I'm in the transition between unconscious incompetence going to conscious competence. Incompetence, yeah.
I think it's one of the longest periods for any skill. And I think that's, at least for me, where oftentimes I kind of go, oh, this is hard. And it feels like a lot of people do that, because then you go, oh, the more you drop into it, exactly that long valley. Yeah.
You don't get the dopamine hits all the time.
Yeah. And the instructions aren't as clear. You can't just go up to a blue belt, you know, like you got to go up to a black belt to figure out what's really wrong here. Like maybe you can puzzle it out, but...
The biggest thing that you could ever do for your jiu-jitsu is just enjoy it. That's what I come down to all the time. Hey, I could be the best plate spinner in the world. I don't care about spinning plates. I only do this because I like it. Just so happens I'm good at it. And that's the side effect of being good at it. I mean, enjoying it, just being good at it.
Well, it's also your career as well, isn't it?
It hasn't always been though. Even when
it
is now, but even back in the day when I had a real job, hey, even on the bad days of work, when I had to take my gi and go from work straight to gym, starving all the time, just a nightmare. It was just a nightmare of a person. Anyway, even then they were all worth it. That was the best place in the world for me.
Highlight of your day, isn't it?
I had the best of times there. What else am I going to do? I can go home and sulk and drink, or I can go to the gym and see the boys batting.
They're the times as well when you if you've got training, like I'll say to people, like, if you can't be asked, if you don't want to go at all, and this is myself included, I'll say to myself, just get your bag, get in your car or whatever your mode of transport is, get there, and if you still can't be bothered and you're outside and you haven't even got on the mats, then turn home and go home. And you're not going to do that. 99% of people are going to go, fuck it, let's just go, see what the technique's saying, alright, let's get the first round. And then when you leave there, you're like, I can't believe that I actually considered not even training tonight. You know?
You're always, I've many a time I've had to force myself to go to training, and then after you're always buzzing. Like,
you never regret it. You never come out and go, fucking hell, and you should have stayed at home and like wondered what they were doing in the gym.
You're not doing anything at all. You just sat around playing with it, do you know what I mean? Not doing anything.
What you're saying made me think, I heard this from Olympic athletes, and 1/3 of your sessions is going to suck, 1/3 is going to be all right, and 1/3 is going to be good. And then you know that you're roughly on the level of like, okay, I'm pushing, but I'm not pushing too hard. If like 90% of your sessions suck, what's going on? You know what I mean? Either maybe it's not sport for you, or you're pushing too hard. But if some of them suck, some of them are all right, that kind of middle space, that seems to be good.
The rule
That's
of
not how it
thirds.
works though. When you first start, 99% of them are terrible. Have you ever seen Layer Cake?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen where he talks about it at the end and he's like, you start at the bottom and everybody's shitting on you, and then when you get to the top, you don't even know what shit looks like. It's the Layer Cake. It's jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu's a Layer Cake.
It's true. But even within your sessions, I've mentioned this before, even within the sessions, you're going to have, if you look at combat sports, obviously, which we are, you're going to have good, like let's break it down to the live sparring. You're going to have good rounds, i.e. you're winning the round, and then you're going to have rounds where it's been all right, it's negated each other, it's been a back and forth, non-stop round, or it's been where, like I said, you've negated each other, and it's been pretty much a stalemate. And then you'll have them rounds where they're, you know, in quotes, a bad round, a shit round, where you've went against someone that fucking murdered you, and you haven't even got out of first gear. You know what I mean? So you can condense it even into that, where you're going to have some days or some rounds or some weeks where it's going to be fucking brilliant and you're flying, and then you're going to have other ones where it's just plateauing along, and then you'll have the other ones where it's been a fucking long day in the office.
I think you got to push gas and push the brake depending on what you're feeling, and I feel for that you just got to listen to yourself.
Don't be a coward. Don't be a coward. Every session's going to be hard. Best be ready for it. Because if it was easy, it wouldn't even be worth doing.
Yeah, everyone would do it.
I'd be walking. Do you know what's nice and easy to do? Walking. Do you know what's harder is you do it for longer? Walking.
And also, it's not your fucking choice. Like, it's not your choice. Don't think because you're like, oh, right, it was tough yesterday, I'm going to have it. Well, you might do a round with someone where
we trained together. We've trained together for a while, and we also trained years ago. Yeah. Jiu-Jitsu came a long way from when we started. It was first day, everybody get in there, and you best hope somebody doesn't batter you. Jiu-Jitsu is slightly different nowadays. Yeah.
It's more accessible.
Infinitely more accessible. There's a million introduction courses, and people are way more gentle.
Better environment to learn, and because of that, because people feel comfy for the most part, day one when they walk through the shutters, walk through the door, people are there. People say hello to you. Never mind. People will say hello as you walk through the door.
People didn't have as much skill back in the day, so you had to like make up for it with a bit of intensity. Yeah. Like, what was your coach when you started?
It was Shane Digby.
What rank was he?
He wasn't ranked in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. He was a Commonwealth judo player. Yeah. My
coach was only a brown belt when I started. He was like he was the highest rank.
He was the highest rank in the city. Yeah.
Him and Rimmer were the highest ranks. Jason and Rimmer were the two highest people, and they were brown belts.
Yeah. My first coach there, just to go off the back of that, is Shane Digby. He was. So there's a club called Atherton Submission Wrestling, ASW.
Name drop.
Yeah, and he was one of the founder members of it, along with Darren Morris, along with the recently late Jack Mountford. But Shane Digby, at the time, he was the wrestling coach in a gym called Calvin. That's how we ended up then grappling off him. But yeah, like Kev said there was no someone there that wanted it out. They were all there to get their own training in. That's it.
So just a quick one, maybe not a quick one, but if we're going back to the subject of slipping, has anyone had a really hard time because for whatever reason they've either fallen out of training or they've had to stop training due to injury or infection. Because I mean, personally, in the first year, like I said, I had staph a couple of times in a row, like I went through a really low bit then, but I feel like now I've sort of had a word with myself, and now when I slip out of it, I'm not too hard on myself. I accept what's going on. Does anyone experience that?
Absolutely, a billion times.
You've already had it, right?
I had staph for a bit, but I've had that exact kind of rhyming pattern in so many different like sports. And it's, you know, typically for me, it's like, okay, I'm either pushing too hard or something's not dialed in, it's some kind of external stress, and then your immune system goes down, or you're just overtrained or overreached, depending on how you view it. But I think that's what I was saying, like, you got to push the brake and the gas, and you got to listen to where your body's at. And, you know, yeah, you can go gas all the time until you just blow apart into a billion pieces, but you can't be at war with yourself about it. I think you're absolutely right there. You can't be like, oh, I gave up and now, you know, I'm a piece of shit for it, whatever. It's like, well, that's just going to keep you from going back in. It's not so much about like life's always going to get in the way. Something's going to happen. You can't stop that. It's outside of you. But you can at some point go, as soon as I can, and it doesn't make the injury or the infection worse, I can do what I can do, right? You know what I mean? Like, taking a dumb example for like, if you can't squat to full depth because it causes you pain, how deep can you squat, right? And then squat to that point where it doesn't make the injury worse. And then as time goes on, you go deeper and you add load.
Yeah,
and the same with the training.
Science training around your injury. You're saying about skill fade though, aren't you, Greg? You're saying like time
You're
out.
saying about his heart.
Yeah.
You're saying he just doesn't really want it. Right,
Oh,
this is
really?
what stands between you and the things you want and not going to be easy.
So
What are you gonna do?
It's like it's
I
like.
don't really love it anymore.
Pardon?
Don't really love it anymore. I'm not asked. Just is what it is. I don't really do jiu-jitsu anymore. That's how it ends. You have to keep your hand in.
Yeah.
The difference between where you are now, not even where you want to be, where you could be, is it's not going to be easy. It's just something you have to live with.
Yeah, but so that there is a point to be said there about skill fade, because say like the top end competitors are doing it all the time, and if they stop, they have to stop. The skills are going to fade. They're losing that time training, right? Yeah. So that does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, skill fade's real. So there's a few things that come along with having a hiatus from training. So first of all, like you mentioned, some kind of infection. If that's keeping you off the mats, then it's keeping you off the mats. You can't train around an infection. If you do, you're being irresponsible. You're passing on stuff, whatever it is to your teammates. So you shouldn't really be doing that anyway. The skill fade that happens, that definitely does happen, and a lot of people will go off the boil completely. So if you get an injury, the diet goes to shit. Eventually, if it's a long-term injury, they start like, and I've been guilty of this myself, they'll start like splintering away from the normal network of friends, teammates, training partners, and then it's even harder to come back to then, isn't it? And then people they'll start getting paranoid, thinking, fucking, I'm going to be shit when I go back. I'm going to have to start from the bottom. So all these things do factor in, and then gradually the longer things get left for, this is why people start like find it harder to get back into training regularly.
You ever seen 40-year-old virgin? Don't put the pussy on a pedestal.
Yeah. Don't build it up, yeah.
Don't put jits on the pedestal.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing that I wanted to say, because so what I've realised is that so I don't tie my value to training. So throughout my adult life, I struggled with feelings of worthlessness. I struggled to find value in myself. And a few years ago, I had the realization that my value is intrinsic. It comes from within. It's the same for everyone. We're born with it. And then, so once I'd realized that and connected my mind to my true value, it helped me tremendously. So now I know that if I make a mistake, if I have to stop training and can never train again, it doesn't affect my real value.
Yeah.
So I feel comfortable with that thought, and now I can. It's easier just to go with the flow.
Big weight off your shoulders, correct?
Big weight off my shoulders, because I didn't know. I thought I was worthless for a very long time, right? And now I don't.
Yeah.
And this is something that I feel like I want to tell everyone, because it took me till the age of about 34 to realise that.
Yeah.
And it's not a nice feeling. It's not a nice feeling to struggle with.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's quite a common feeling that people in our society struggle with, because we're told that if you got a big, nice car, big house, lots of girls,
All the status, all the materialistic stuff, and obviously with you, what you mentioned there, 34. So obviously the period before that is going through your 20s. Like, you show me somebody that's not that's content and secure and where they should be in the 20s. Fucking no one. So you go through, a lot of us do go through that period in your life, feeling worthless, feeling like imposter syndrome, feeling like what do I identify as here? Who am I supposed to fucking be? Yeah. So a lot of us do go through that, don't we? Until you find something. So for me, for example, it was becoming a dad. You know what I mean? That's what it was, and then it was like, oh shit. I've actually got something, I've got a worth here, I've got a value, I've got something to offer back, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's not uncommon that.
You're just the background people in most people's lives, just background character. I wouldn't be worried about what people think about you. Like, nobody. I just see it occasionally. I don't really, you just do your that. I don't really think.
It's the opposite. You're not nobody, you're very special.
Yeah, but in my life,
You mean for
You're
the
the-
perception?
in my life,
you're the
you're
main
bad,
character
and
for
I don't
you.
love you anymore because you can run fast or jump high. You're just the guy who I know.
Yeah.
You only really exist when I'm with you. I wish you nothing but the best. You're good people. You've got some interesting things to say, but I'm not going to love you or hate you because you can't run fast.
It's that self-imposed perception, isn't it, about like what people think of you or how you're supposed
People
to be.
think you're way less
It's all,
than you
like
think.
you said, it's internal, isn't it? Like, no,
It's internal.
one's asked. You shouldn't really care about it, but we do, especially these days. I mean, the generation, without sounding patronising, the younger generation, obviously Ellis is a lot younger than me, and these grew up immersed in social media, immersed in this is what you want, and it's like classic, isn't it? Like this meme, you've got someone standing in the pissing down rain at the bus stop, and you've got 500 quid trainees on a Moncler jack, and it's like, I'm missing the point.
There's your priority there. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's like divide and conquer. Like, why would you do that against yourself? I've found that every time, like, I crack in some way and things don't go the way I want to, and I can do something about it, it's typically because of self-doubt. Like, I can't throw myself with my full weight behind it because there's too much, like, head chatter about, well, you're shit, so you can't do it anyway.
What if it
it's
goes
like,
wrong?
well, if I just go, okay, that's nice of you, voice, but I can do things. And then you can put your full weight behind it. Maybe it has to be slower than you'd like it to. Maybe you can't do like 8 training sessions a day, but or 8 training sessions a week. But you can go, okay, when I can, and then just keeping an eye on it. But otherwise, always finding balance.
All right, guys. Sorry, were you going to say something, Duffy?
No.
He's always got something to say.
Yeah.
You need to get some words on the mic.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. No. That's what we were just talking about.
I was going to speak about my injury, but you moved on from
Go ahead, talk about that. We'll cut it back in.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I've been suffering an ongoing injury for about 3 months with my knee. I think it was right before I went to that comp, wasn't it? Just minor, something really minor. I just felt my knee a little. I was like, oh, I'll take the day off. I thought it was all right. I went to the comp, felt sound until after it, where I felt it pop a few times.
In the comp?
Yeah, but I didn't think nothing of it. Do you know what I mean? And then when I finished the match, I felt like I kicked in and I felt it. I was like, fuck, I can't walk here.
Yeah.
And then
Ellis, so you felt it pop a few times in the comp, but you didn't think anything of it. Is that because the pops didn't really hurt?
No. I felt it was more like just like little clicks in my knee, which I get all the time.
Yeah, when you're trying to bend your leg and it pops and just...
I've just got weird knees.
Drowning.
That's me elbows the same. Yeah.
Ellis, tell us what happened. What was the scenario? What happened when you got
when it
actually the injury? Was it through a leg attack or was it
no,
a scramble?
it was literally, so I was in a scramble and it was like a technical stand-up and I just felt my knee go outwards a bit like that. And then I just knew it weren't right, but progressively it just got worse. I kept training
What was
on
he
it.
doing? That was the biggest thing. He's only 18. You can't tell him nothing anyway. But it was kept telling him not to train, and he'd come in and train, and his style's very leg orientated.
Very dexterous with the legs and stuff.
He has a specific style that's he's going to cause damage to himself. Carry on. So.
Well, yeah, just progressively I just kept training on it, and I was going to come into another comp actually a month and a half ago, but I just realised no, I can't do it. But then I've been to keep training, and like, do you know what a locking sensation is of your knee? It just kept locking up. I didn't feel like it got better. Could train on it, felt great. But then if it was in like a certain position, like it bending like that, just locked up. It kept locking up, and I was like, I don't know what to do here because it gets better, and then it locks up, and then I'm back to square one.
And you don't want to stop training, do you think?
No.
How long is it going to be? Am I going to come back?
22,
People who should be beat are going to be might get better than me. So you think I'll just carry on training anyway and hope it gets better.
And you get used to. I mean, in a combat sport, where you're manipulating people's joints and limbs to the point of breaking, then you do start training around things, and you do get used to things like how many times have people heard like, was it a bad pop or a good pop? Like, it's a fucking pop in your joints, do you know what I mean? You need to assess it, you need to do a little risk assessment. But we all get used to it. We all try and come back to training too early. We all try and train around stuff. And like with Kev saying to you that you won't listen, 18, I was 44 the other day, and I'm fucking still struggling to listen.
That's why it's important. As an athlete, it's up to you to be tough. It's up to your coach to be smart.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the biggest thing. Point. You should be doing everything you possibly can to your coach is like, hey, maybe we do a bit less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's up to, that's one of the biggest things you can have in a coach, somebody who actually keeps their eye on you. Because I've had it, we've all had it, of just being left to your own devices.
Yeah.
When I'm left to my own devices, I'm not my best mate. I'm my own manager, and I've took some random matches, remember, for Jack Grant, for no reason. That was
he's a tough lad, isn't he?
Lad, he's massive.
Well, I mean, the size different,
That was me being my own manager. That was me not having a coach. I was just like, yes, I'll bang you.
He's still fighting at lightweight in MMA.
Welterweight, I think.
Welterweight.
He's massive, he banged me.
Grapple fest and...
He mightn't attack me, but he battered me.
That was...
fucking massive.
Did that go on for 20 minutes?
10 minutes, he battered me.
10 minutes.
Was that like Grapple Fest, was it?
Nah, it was on role models. It was like a child.
Is there a video out there?
Yeah.
Where's that?
I don't know what's on it.
You'd be on YouTube, that, won't it?
He batters me. I just told you he battered me. I don't want to put that out there.
So how have you dealt with that mentally, or how's it been for you, like mentally, the dealing with the injury?
It's been tough. It's been really tough. It's just I can't resist. Like, I'll come in, I'll watch, and I'll say, I'll just do a bit of drills, and then I do a bit of drills, and then I do a bit of rolls, and then I end up injuring myself.
His brother does Jiu Jitsu as well, so that doesn't help.
No.
Is he older brother or younger?
Older.
He's coming home saying this was
so
the best
it's the
session.
competitive thing where it's like, are you better than him?
Yeah.
Has it affected your mood or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's took a big toll on me because jiu-jitsu's like, it's a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And when I'm home, not being able to do nothing, it's just like, what do I do here? What do I do? Because when there's nothing for me to do, I'm like, I'll just go to jiu-jitsu. I can't do that. I can come and watch, but it's not the same.
No, it's not.
It's just, it's really hard.
There's a good thing to take away from that, and again, without sounding patronising, but you found something that you're super passionate about, and more than likely going to do for the rest of your life. Yeah. And you're not 18. Are you 18 still? Ellis? Fucking hell, mate. So that's like half winning the lottery. Finding something that early on in life where it's like, fucking, I found something here that I can make money out of, I can be good at, I can be well respected, you know what I mean? So you found that. The injuries, you'll get round them, only temporary, you'll get back.
I got incredibly lucky finding Jiu Jitsu. I found it when I was 18. I've done it for most of my adult life at this point. I don't know what I'd be like without Jiu Jitsu. I'd be way crazier. I'd just be... So the thing that Jiu Jitsu gave me above everything else, it gave me a passion. I lived my life without passion for ages. It's very hard it's hard for me to explain, because a lot of people don't live with passion. A lot of people who I know have the job's the passion, and your job should never be your passion, because it's not you. You're defined by way more than your job. You're defined by way more than your passions, but it gives you a good idea of what you actually want to do. It gave me a direction to where it weren't tied to me monetary value, how much I have, what I have.
Doesn't equate to your strength.
When we get on there, it doesn't really matter. As long as we do a bit of jiu-jitsu, everybody goes home happy. Even if I'm way better than you. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm getting it, rubbing it in your face. We're just having a good time.
But that's a good point, because that's something that it's took you well over a decade to acquire. Now, people will judge it. So, for example, if you go and meet somebody, wherever it is, and the first two questions, what are they that people ask you? They'll ask you what your name is, like what noise do I make with my mouth to get your attention, and what do you do? Now, if you turn around, you go, my name's Kevin, I do jiu-jitsu. Or I went, my name's Anthony, and I'm a dad. And you're like, no, what do you do? What do you do for a living? What do you do to make money? Oh, wow. So then I can then determine how much respect I'm going to give you on the social ladder.
It's sad
that's
as well,
what you do. But it'd be weird as fuck, sorry, Rhys, just to finish, it'd be weird as fuck, wouldn't it? Like, if you mentioned what you're passionate about, well, that's what I do. Why do you need to know what I do for a living?
What do you do outside of work? It's often much more interesting.
More interesting, right?
Like, we're not going to sit here for an hour and say, this is what I do day to day in my job, because we'll be like, fuck off. So we don't give a shit, you know what I mean? Like obviously you'll entertain it, and like it's nice to know a few things, but you can't have a passionate discussion about, I go to work, I sit down at my desk, I log on and then shag spreadsheets for 8 hours, and then I do this, and then I've got this report to do. It's like, shut up, just say, this is what I do.
But that's the first fucking thing people want to know about you, isn't it?
Yeah, how much respect do they give you?
You know what I mean? And look, I'm going to say, like, most people will, though, if you turn around, not that there's nothing wrong with any of these jobs, but if you turn around and go, I'm a fucking neurosurgeon, or
I'm on the dole.
Then you're passionate about it. If you're passionate about your job,
no
then
matter
people are
what
interested.
it is, but people treat you a little bit differently, won't people?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But like Kev was saying, this is where I'm going around the world, back to this point, like on there, on the mats, then it doesn't really matter. No one's asked, and no one's going to rub your face in it, and you're not going to look down at somebody because they've been doing it less time than you. Everyone's the same.
I love that as well, where it's like, you might earn 100 grand a year, but then like you're like 18, you're basically just turned an adult, and it's like, who cares if you're fucking like, you're absolutely minted, because a young lad from Liverpool who's obviously just starting up in adult life can just come and like, wipe the floor with you.
Yeah, let's have it right. I mean, you see high-level police officers who roll on next to career criminals and all.
It's great.
You know what I mean?
On the mats,
nothing.
everyone's just pals, aren't they? You know what I mean? It's people who you wouldn't.
You find a place of belonging.
Like you might, if you were in the pub, you probably wouldn't sit. You go, you wouldn't talk to them, you wouldn't notice them. But when you're on the mats, it's great.
Do you know why that is? Because you get to see people at the worst. You get to see people physically dominated.
Yeah.
And it's depressing.
When they're gassing out their arse.
Yeah, like you've tried your best here, and this fella's physically dominating me.
Vulnerable, innit? It's a vulnerable position.
So
that's
when
when
I
you
get
show
to
character. That's when you show character.
When I get to know what you like, and know what you like then.
It's also the age range as well, because there's so many things to offer. Because like, if we didn't have jiu-jitsu, I wouldn't know any of you here. You know, because
there's a lot of people in it.
You're 18, you're 44, it's a big dip. You're old enough literally to be like, how old's your eldest?
So my eldest daughter who lives in Belfast, I've got three daughters with my previous partner. My eldest that lives in Belfast, I had her when I was in the army at 19, she's 23, so she's actually older than Ellis.
5 years older than Ellis, but obviously on the mat, you're pals, aren't you? It's like your friends, isn't it? When you've got children who are older than it. But none of that matters here, it's just like, we're all just the boys who are getting together to do something we like, and it's a blessing.
Allow me to interject then. So, Ellis, have you ever experienced what we were talking about, like the effect on your mood? Have you ever experienced that before in your life?
Probably, I think everyone has, to be honest, haven't they? But in general, yeah. But mostly it's when I'm being able to train this.
So, what you want to do something, but you can't do it, right? So the mismatch is between your imagination of what you want to be doing in life, but what you can't do, right? And that's causing you stress in those situations. And that might be, or your parents want you to do X, Y, Z, and you can't do it. And that's what really messes you up. This is my solution to it. It might not work for everyone, but I'm bad at lots of things. So if I do an injury that's specific to one sport, then I've got avenues to dodge onto. If I can't do jiu-jitsu because of a staph infection, I'll just get jacked in the gym, right?
That's exactly what I do.
You find something else to put that energy that ideally flows back into the thing that you'll want to be doing. It's like, don't go through the problem, go around the problem, right?
You do it though, you'll get something out of it, but it's just not the same, is it?
No.
It's never going to be the same.
But you can't fix reality, you know what I mean?
You can make it better, but it's never going to be, you know, the buzz you get off when you're doing.
You can control how you land in the situation, but you can't always control the situation. That's external to you. You know what I mean? If a meteorite hits the roof here, then it's like, what can I do about that?
Yeah.
So let me propose. Like, we've been going on for a little while now, but I like it. We're enjoying the conversation. Well, I'm enjoying the conversation.
Yeah.
So let me just go a bit deeper into this to what I said before about value, right? And we're saying that, you know, coming and once you're on the mats, you know, it's all equal and everything. But what if you can't do that? What if you have to have your arms and legs chopped off? Let's not go down that way, right? So what if you can't practice jiu-jitsu? So this, I'm saying this because this is what I want to tie it in with what I said about value. And for me, it's like, for an example, you have adored celebrities that take their own lives, right? Yeah. And they have everything. They're successful. They have everything, but they still don't
have that inner peace.
Right.
And for me, that's when. So the realization that the value comes from inside. I feel like if I gamble all my money away, if I end up on the streets. It's almost like if I alienate people with the way that I am, if I make the biggest mistakes, I can still come back to, right, my actual value is inside, I've connected it with my mind, now where do we go from here?
Yeah.
So in that situation where I've lost everything, I've made terrible mistakes in my life, I still don't have to struggle with my feel. I don't have to feed into my feelings of worthlessness, and that's what I feel will help me now in when I'm slipping, all of that. So I just wanted to say that, and then are we good to move on?
Yeah.
So. I don't want to talk about this, I don't want to go into this now, but I want to propose the question, perhaps for future episodes or for our viewers to think about as well. So we're practicing a martial art here, and last week Sean referred to Kev a number of times. I'm not sure if it was on camera, but he referred to Kev as an artist. And
Thanks one, Sean. Really appreciate that, mate.
yeah, that's good. Yeah. And I so my question is, what makes martial arts an art? Okay, so we practice jiu-jitsu. What makes it art? What makes kung fu an art? What makes martial arts an art? And then we can talk about is violence art? Yeah. All of that. So but let's cut it short there, all right? Because we can go on for another hour about that, I'm sure.
You can always cut it down later.
Pardon?
You can always cut it down later.
We can always cut it down later. But
This is a long take. This.
Yeah, we also want to get out of here before like 9 o'clock tonight.
Cold in here now, you know.
So who's rolling now? It's Duffy and Josh.
Can do. I need to warm up first though.
What are you saying, Duffy?
Just do around, yeah.
Yeah. Let's quickly talk about the role with Josh and Ant.
I think Josh is going to win.
You think Josh is going to win?
Coming out the gate, he's got him today.
Don't say that.
So you guys have rolled. You guys have rolled today in the open mat.
Yeah.
Oh, were you at the Trident before, yeah?
Yeah. We've done a round before.
And so we're gonna have a roll, and the idea is for it to demonstrate the levels between a beginner and elite level. So you didn't want me to say that, did you?
Rather setting me up for a big fall, yeah. What it sound.
But there is a weight disparity there as well. So okay.
One thing that might be worth saying is it's not just you've got a beginner versus someone who's a veteran. Let's say not to say elite. Let's say a veteran, someone who's much more advanced practitioner. You've been doing it for a long time. It's what are your objectives going in? So rather than saying he's going to roll, I imagine your objective is kind of just try to survive, and yours is more just you might have a specific. I want to hit a certain move.
Just not get fucking injured. That's all I'm looking at.
It's the objectives where. As if you were to have a roll with another brown belt, sort of someone at the same sort of level as you, your objective's much different. It's right. I want to try and just beat them.
Capitalise on them little incremental bits of space or little mistakes that they make. And sometimes it does just.
You roll differently, don't you? Like you roll with someone who's smaller and absolute beginner on the first day, and really like your objective now is like. You want to be able to show them that this is good, but also not hurt them, because it's like you've got to think, right, they're going to come out with everything. I want to beat them, obviously, but also show them a few things and like let them know that it works. You don't want someone to come in and think this doesn't work because you're too easy on them. But at the same time, you don't want to go in there and put someone off by being a dick and going, I'm going to try and see how many times I can tap this like new kid.
Really, Duffy?
Yeah.
But I really,
because it stops people.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah. Whereas if I roll,
bashing people all the time.
If I roll with Duffy, the objective is try and basically survive, or if we're going for say 5 minutes.
That's the wrong thing. You're thinking of it wrong.
Yeah, but it's try and not get tapped out. Like we had a round last year and I got done like 7 times in 5 minutes, and then after that it's like right, let's try and not get submitted all the time, and then work from there and go right. Okay, it would be great to be able to say actually try something of myself.
Yeah, all the failures in the world can't measure up to one success. That you're thinking of it wrong, trying not to lose. You need to be trying to win.
So, yeah.
Because otherwise you're just going back to
But realistically, if you're brand new to training,
but
you're
all
not.
you need to do is you're not brand new to training anymore.
No, I'm saying
I'm not going to go into this being like I'm going to try and win. Like,
that's
insanity.
I'm not saying you're trying to win. I'm saying you're trying to get at least moves off.
Yeah. But
You're
that's why.
You're trying not to lose. You're trying to do something.
But that's why I
Not
love
losing is not the same as doing something.
You know, you'd be like, let's not do subs, right? You'll get me into a position where I'm in triangle choke, and then you're like, how are you going to get out of it? And I was like, this is great because it trains the specific, like, those little spaces of like, okay, when you're in a triangle choke.
You've got time to work.
Yeah, then it's like, okay, we can work with this, and I can figure out what to do in that kind of space. Because otherwise you end up in that space in a comp or something, and you're like, I don't have a clue what to do here. But I prefer that much more, because then we're not trying to tear each other apart, but we're also like learning about it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm clearly learning less than you know what I mean?
If you triangle someone,
you've got time to work in that position then, haven't you? You know what I mean? There's no sense of urgency where you're going to do something inevitably wrong, and then,
triangling someone 4 times in a round isn't good. After this maybe second time is, like you say, it's best to say, all right, well,
I learned minimally from that.
Or if you're going to do it, you go, right, well, you're giving me this here, don't do this, because if you like, you know, because very first class when you're always in like that, one arm in, one arm out. After a couple of times, someone just said, right, this is why you're getting triangled all the time, and it's like, rather than just doing it again, he was like, this is how you avoid it.
Yeah.
And there's much more benefit to both people then, because it means the person who's more experienced, who's like I think it was a blue belt at the time, or early blue, gets at least that's one more person who he has to do something else to triangle them rather than just.
So it's bringing them on. It helps you.
You're just them. That's how I see people when I roll with them nowadays when you're not very good. That was just me at one time. I was just terrible.
So, gents, I've just had a thought. Right, we could just not do the rolls and just carry on chatting, or we need to talk about what format we're going to have the rolls. Are you gonna just go get the sub as quick as you can?
No, just to be honest, Greg, I'm happy going chill. I'm just doing a round. I'm got I have no thought of it at all.
Well, I think personally, I would like to see you get the sub as quickly as possible.
Come on!
Standing Gilly.
I'll tell you now, I'm not wrestling cold, and I'm going to sit on the arm.
Not going to be cold, not going to be cold.
Exactly,
right there, go on.
Are we all desperate to roll?
It's like he's coming off.
Yeah, we need to get this on the wall.
Jacket's
Let's go with that.
Let's do it.
Tell me about our beginnings.
Okay, guys, so here we have Josh, a white belt, and Anthony, a brown belt, and we're going to have a roll. I've asked Anthony to smash Josh as quickly as possible, but it's up to him, we'll see. Alright guys, touch and go please.
Thank you.
So,
exchanging collar ties, Anthony with the headlock, Anthony with the snap down, Anthony with the guillotine. That's a tap.
Tap, tap,
That's
tap.
all
And
of
that's
it.
a total of 5 seconds.
Wow, wow, wow.
Am I on that?
That is it.
Duffy with guillotine. Yeah, all right, good, gents.
Am I on now?
Yeah, these guys are going. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm grand.
Yeah.
You put on the guillotine real gentle.
Now we have Kev, black belt, and Duffy, brown belt. Touch and go, gents. Okay, this is exciting actually. This is the highest level match we've had on Jits Quips so far.
You weren't
What's
excited for
3%?
mine?
We were.
Seeing
I'll
collar
take that
ties here.
guillotine there.
Duffy looking for a Russian tie.
Hand fighting.
Kev looking to pick that ankle up.
Yeah, he's going to sweep that leg up, isn't he? Like he did 2 weeks ago.
So fair to say a bit more competitive than Josh and Duffy.
Arm there.
Almost flatter attempt there from Duffy.
Kev does well to spin out of it.
Nice.
Kev makes,
Headquarters.
he makes it look
knee
effortless,
slice.
doesn't
Kevin's his favourite position here. Loves the knee slice.
he? Oh.
Passes he did. He's Duffy with games nicely. Straight back into the knee slice.
Here's a little battle now, because this could go on forever, or could be over really quickly.
Beautiful. Duffy tails. Trying to Granby.
Nice twist.
Looking to side control.
Josh, how tight was that guillotine on you?
It was very gentle.
He locked it, mate.
I mean,
Very
if I didn't
gentle.
tap, if I didn't tap, it would have been a pain. It would have been not good, but he gave me a
Kev for the
moment.
pass.
Kev's just relentless there, isn't he?
Yeah,
He let Duffy have his guard back and then just pass again.
Duffy back up.
soften him up.
Got some heavy breathing here, so nice and competitive. Kev repping the Gambit brand with the ranked rash guard. Shout out to Nathan Dunn. So we've got two
Again with the ankle.
old-time training
He
partners here.
shoots, takes Kev down, straight back up. Nice.
That was lovely.
Back.
Kev's
Up
got
to the Kimura grip
Kimura
here.
grip here.
Duffy
What's he
turns
going to
it
do
well.
with it?
And look to take the back.
Nice grab.
Nice.
So Kev makes it look effortless, doesn't he? He's barely breathing, he's just
Straight back into the knee slice.
masterful.
If it's good, it should be easy.
Pardon?
If it's
Constant
good, it
pressure.
should be easy.
Constant pressure here from Kev.
There's your unconscious competence.
It could be pertinent to say that there is a 13-year age gap here,
Yeah.
Good point.
as well as, I guess, a perceived skill gap.
That's not an insult, it's just...
It's the fact, right?
Yeah. And it's definitely not, it's absolutely not an insult.
Transition into the
I'm
back
feeling
here.
Kev's on the back with that seatbelt.
Can look to take the back again.
I feel like this is a lovely display of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Nice one. Turtle. Try and read on.
Tight waist grip.
It's one thing as well is how hard Kev will make you work. So you'll tire yourself out, but he'll just stick on you.
Straight knee slice.
So I think it's fair to say that Kev has been in the
Attack
more dominant
mode.
attack mode.
He's been softening up
Absolutely.
there.
He's passed the guard a few times, but credit to Duffy for recovering that guard, defending a lot.
North south. Got the Kimura grip. Tap.
Tap.
Kimura.
Nice.
Is that Kev won by? Okay, so we have Rhys and Ellis, 2 blue belts here. All right, touch and go, gents.
Ellis with the collar tie. Rhys slowly backing away, circling to his left. Exchanging inside space with the hands.
Yeah, Ellis
Tries
doing
a
nice
foot
here.
sweep there.
Trying to maintain inside space. He had wrist control, one-on-one.
I feel like because of the weight, Rhys might not want to wrestle too much, like he said on previous episodes.
His best option's limited though. So Rhys constantly looking away and looking down here. Ellis with the higher cut.
Ellis got the 2-on-1 there, nice control. Trying to pick up on that lead leg.
Rhys fights him off, Rhys sets back to neutral. Rhys with the pouring lead left hand. Exchanging.
See, with Ellis being the taller guy, he's obviously got that advantage. I'd like to see more level changes, keep Rhys thinking.
Right hand collar tie for Ellis.
Nice, up and over. He needs to keep Rhys's posture down. Rhys done the right thing, but then he catches that overhook.
Ellis with an Uchimata on Rhys, right side. Rhys trying to regard. Ellis standing over him because he's significantly taller.
Tall guy advantage there. Nice.
Tries the butterfly.
Use
Ellis
that to
with
pass.
Kimura.
It's a lovely catch that. Rhys needs to be careful here, stay tight with everything, keep it moving.
Rhys comes on
Watch
top.
the armbar counter for Ellis.
Ellis rolls back through, knee.
Very nice.
He's got the back control gift wrap. He's crossing them ankles, looking for that armbar or potentially the back. He's going for a reverse triangle as well if he's going to mess it. He's attacking the arm lock here. He's got his hands
Rhys
together.
needs to be aware of the triangle as well, like Kev said there. Looks like he's breaking that grip now. Coming round to the back.
Ellis slips the leg through. Rhys has caught it, nice. Good defence by Rhys there.
It's all about posture for Rhys now.
Was that a triangle attempt?
Yeah. But he had the danger of the arm bars being there as well.
He's now on open guard. He's passing to his left. Ellis has got the left foot in there.
See, it's nice that. It's mobility here. When you're trying to pass an open guard like that, mobility is key.
Sets back up to open guard. Rhys in the middle, not really committing much.
So a bit of back and forth here now.
Yeah, we can see where Ellis wants to go with this, and it's nice. He's got in on it.
Ellis back on top.
Good job, Rhys. Nice.
Rhys tries to extend.
Seems like Ellis likes this nice big back step into his pass.
Ellis attacks with Dars. Rhys is trying to go to his back.
He's open with his knee shield there, needs to be careful.
His options are very limited.
Ellis, is he going to fish through for that far side underhook, or is he happy to work with that? Or
Looks like he's continuing for the dash.
Yeah.
Rhys tries to frame. Tries to put that butterfly hook in. Tries to elevate Ellis. Ellis puts his left knee on the body. Attacks the Kimura again.
Ellis working really well with his long limbs here.
Yeah.
Ellis in the knee cut position.
That was
Passes.
nice. Yeah. Straight on the hip.
North south.
Nice. Rhys turns up to his knees.
Needs to keep them limbs tight.
Ellis with a near side control on the shoulder, attacking the Kimura again. Rhys turns
That
up
elbow
though.
looks like it's out, but he needs to watch the triangle.
He's going to get his back taken.
That's nice.
Ellis has the back take. Rhys is fighting the hands.
Are we fancying Ellis to finish this now?
Nah, Rhys is quite tough here.
What does Rhys need to do here
He
to
needs to
defend
free his hips. See the way he turns his hips?
Yeah.
And he turns his upper body.
Yeah.
The problem is he needs to keep going here.
He needs to keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't stop when you're in the negatives.
If you're going to expel any energy, Kev, it's to escape positions like this.
To get back to neutral at least.
Yeah.
He's got
No
two
way
hands
for
on
him
his
to
feet.
Watch that knee, mate.
Don't worry about himself. It's not that you need to worry about him doing.
You're like, if you're
Nice movement.
Yeah, he's got crazy legs.
He's been relentless with
What he
this,
does is this.
2-on-1 grip on the arm and then rolling through.
Trying to work on it.
Yeah.
He's attacking the triangle over the top, trying to separate that grip.
This is a danger zone for Rhys now. There's so many things.
Rhys has got one arm
He's
in
in
now.
reverse triangle. He's in reverse triangle.
work out
Ellis
of
is
it.
attacking arm lock.
Rhys needs to keep that
What
arm
about
well away
tapping?
from side.
Tap. Yes,
Good job,
gentlemen.
Arm back.
Yep, triangle arm bar.
Good hustle. Real good hustle, Rhys.
All right, gents, in the middle, please. You like to raise Ellis's hand for us?
Real good hustle.
Nice match that, boys. Well done.
Ellis wins by armbar. All right,
Hey,
gents.
that was entertaining, that, you know. It was good to watch.
So, we've had the rolls, okay? So, we're going to do a bit of post-match analysis on them. Obviously, because we can't go back and watch the rolls, we can't go through every single detail. All right, gents, so first match was Josh and Duffy. Now, I asked Duffy to get this done as quickly as possible, just for the sake of demonstration. So I don't want anyone to think that Duffy's being a
Yeah, I am an arsehole, first of all. So you're right. But it was at Greg's request that we get it done quick, so that's what that was. Sorry, Josh.
No worries.
So it was a guillotine. Can you talk us through that step by step? How you baited him into what?
Yeah, I don't think there was much. I think it was just started around obviously from standing, a little head snap, chin strap, guillotine. That was it.
You sat down on it as well, didn't you?
Yeah. And then I sat to it, up and over his back.
So head snap. And then when you do the head snap, would you always go for the chin strap?
Ideally, yeah, because people are going to react to the, without going into it too much, people are going to react to your head snap. So they're either going to stand proud or they're either going to get caught by surprise. And the centre of gravity is either going to go over or be super pronounced. And then I can change levels and double leg. Or ideally, the posture will break down like what happened with our mate, Josh, yeah, and then chin strap, guillotine.
Chin strap, guillotine, and
Guillotine,
then sit through.
and
right?
then sat into the guillotine. Yeah.
Okay. And we asked you on the commentary, but it wasn't too tight.
No.
Like, nice and
No,
controlled.
Ant has always been very kind with the submissions.
Yeah. Lovely.
Just enough to let you know he's there.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to tap here.
And if that was like a true, like a bout, true competition, like if you get that, are you squeezing that guillotine?
Yeah, of course. Any sub, and including in training, like our coaches are always like this, and I always say it, like everything you need to emulate, like it's getting done, really. So this whole thing where people will sequence and say they go, drag back, take, put the choke on, and then they move up. Like, don't do that. Like, apply the choke, hip into it, get everything correct, let your trainer partner tap, and then move on. Don't just shadow it, because when it comes to it, especially with leg locks, I know rabbiting on now, but people will catch a heel hook and then they'll let go and move on. Well, you'll do that live then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So catch it and apply the sub, your trainer partner should tap.
Get the tap. Yeah, I did. I have made that mistake in the first year of my training, where I would think I would get into a position to sub, and then just be like, okay, that's the sub, then let it go.
Yeah.
But when I was like, oh, I need to start actually working the sub, I realised that the amount of effort you need to put in to finish is like crazy, especially for someone like me whose technique might not be perfect. But yeah, appreciate that, guys. Thank you, Josh.
So, yeah, thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Okay, so then it was Ellis and Rhys, right?
No, Duffy and Kev.
Oh, it was Duffy and Kev again, okay. Brown belt versus black belt match.
First degree black belt.
First
Me and
degree.
Duffy have trained together for years at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know what he's gonna do.
So was there anything that pops out in your mind there?
No. Like Kev said there, we trained together for a lot of years. Kev's been my coach for a lot of them years as well, before going to Trident. So he knows.
I know what he's going to do.
He knows what I'm going to do, yeah. What he's shown me, he's
I've
shown
seen
me.
it. We have a different style. We have a different approach to jiu-jitsu. I know what you're going to do. We've just seen it before.
Yeah.
You know what's it?
Was there any part of that where you might have gained the upper hand, where you...
No, no, because even being on, when I know enough, when we were talking earlier on the podcast, I know enough that I know if somebody's letting me work or they're working on something. So, for example, with me getting back to recovering guard or any kind of guard retention, I could tell when Kev was easing off the pressure, letting that happen and bringing it back on. So, yeah, I'll know what he's going to do and I won't be able to stop him doing it, and Kev knows what I'm going to do and before I know I'm going to do it, basically. Yeah.
So could you guys roll 10 times and Kev would win every single time, or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You have to give it more than 10. Once you get into 100, Duffy can defo catch me. The biggest thing with it is just a game of numbers. It's just a lottery at this point. The more numbers you put on, the more likely you are to win. Do you know what I mean? 10's way too small of a sample size.
Yeah, so 100 out of 100 times he might catch you 5-10 times.
There'll be times, if we do round, so there'll be times, and again, because we've done countless rounds at this point together, but there'll be times where there might be a gap or there might be an opening or getting in something, then I'll feel Kev, and this happens with a lot of high-level black belts, then you'll feel the game, then you'll feel them change gears on you, because something's happened, what they haven't wanted to happen, and then they'll get it back on track straight away, and then back to doing the round as they want to do it.
Okay. So yeah, it did look like Kev was mainly dominant, which he was. So any positions of note? What was the finish?
Kimura.
From the back, wasn't it, I think? Yeah.
So we'll get a Kimura then and just push it up your back.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, it's just guard passing. So I say this all the time to them, do you listen to me? The only thing that matters is your guard passing. Your guard's worthless, essentially. Sorry to break it to everybody.
Your guard is worthless.
Worthless, bro. Because people just, eventually, you can have the best guard ever. There's like obviously exceptions to the rules, like the Meows obviously made a fucking career out of it. But if you look at the damage that the Meows would put on the body versus somebody who's more of a top player, like if you look at who's the best now, it's Gordon obviously. And what does he do? Mainly plays top and finishes people from top. He's got a few jazzy leg locks that he used to do, but he doesn't really do them anymore. It's mainly his guard passing. The method of jiu-jitsu has changed to the point where guard passing is the dominant style. It used to be leg locks and now guard passing.
But then before that again, it was guard passing before that, wasn't it? So it was like fundamental. Guard passing, the subs will make themselves.
When I started, the butterfly guard was the new hotness, and X-guard, because Marcelo was
X-guard,
winning.
Marcelo,
And then it was leg dragon, because the Mendes brothers were winning.
Berimbolos.
And then the Berimbolos, because the Meows were winning.
What's a berimbolo?
Like a rolling back.
It's like a rolling back. It's like a turnover back kick.
I see,
It's
okay.
from De La Riva. It's a guy called Ricardo De La Riva. He got so much credit by just putting his name on a hook, and that hook became ubiquitous. It's one of the fundamentals of open guard.
And it's mad how things advance that you say, like when you started 13 years ago, butterfly guard was like the hot thing. But now
Marcelo Garcia was the hot thing.
Butterfly guard now is like
guillotines.
considered more of a, if someone's a beginner, saying like, oh, these are your fundamentals, knowing butterfly guard is
Butterfly sweeps, butterfly guard.
which is crazy because only just over 10 years ago that was
PS1. It's PS1 jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
Game moves on. You got to keep moving on.
It's
But
crazy.
it isn't in that sense. It is a basic thing, isn't it? Because butterfly guard it's your distance management, isn't it? Being able to control the distance and being close to your opponent and start fishing for whatever you want with your underhooks, or being able to keep them away from you.
Elevate
And like Kev said there, Marcelo Garcia, he's considered a little guy, even though he's not little at all, but he's considered a little guy in ADCC.
To get back to me and Duffy though, I only did the most basic things ever. I only really done a knee cut. Knee cut's the first move you'd ever learn in jiu-jitsu. It's essentially the first guard pass you'd ever learn. It's the most effective.
Yeah.
but it's so hard to get it right because it's
No, I don't think it's that hard to get right.
no, to get it right, I mean as in,
People's time, it's time.
at a high level,
It's just timing.
because you can show someone the move, but actually knowing how to apply it and how to troubleshoot it is much different to saying you just do this and put your knee in and go through. It's a lot. There's a
People
lot more to it than
disrespect it. Do you ever remember Fionn fought that with other birds?
She said, all you've
What
got
are you
is a
going to
knee
do?
cut.
Cut me? And
Yeah.
Man who got stabbed. What are you going to do? Stab me? She went out there and he cut him back.
That was Polaris last year, was it?
I can't remember. I don't really know. But anyway, I remember seeing it thinking, obviously that's what she's going to do. That's what she's good at.
Yeah. Because saying something is basic isn't an insult. It just means it's not
basic.
flashy.
There's a reason why it's basic.
Yeah.
It's high
Somebody
percentage.
jabs your head in.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Jabbed your head in.
basic's not an insult. Saying something shit's an insult. Basic is just it's something. It's simple and it works.
So
But-
anyway, I battered Duffy. To get back to the ranch.
Yeah. Got the first
Absolutely
minute.
gave it to Duffy.
We said on the commentary that it was noticeable that how heavy you were breathing, and you just looked like you
Duffy was
could do
cold.
it in your
That was the
sleep.
biggest problem.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure if you've ever done, when you go to, especially in competition,
First round.
you need to be sweating.
Yeah.
Need to be sweating, otherwise you breathe hard. See,
And
like
you
Duffy was
gasp.
dying on there.
Yeah.
And that's because he...
But
was
you
cold.
just seemed so relaxed. It was like
I was always winning. That's the biggest thing.
You need to reach that intensity that you're going to go to in the competition. That's what I find anyway.
Yeah.
So when you're competing, you need to go there before, like at least
Just
once.
get your second wind, as they say.
Yeah.
Like I said to Kevin in the kitchen then, instead of, because it was obviously blowing so heavy because it was cold, and then like 2 minutes into the round, started to feel all right a little bit then. Felt better then than at the start of the round.
Yeah.
But when it's like that and it's constant, just like trying to recover, okay, I've got a bit of space, now I can recover, no I can't, now it's past, and it's absolute, exhausting, demoralising to the point that the subs are just there. It's just when they want to take it or when he wants to take it.
I can tap people by accident. Nobody ever batters me by accident. Do you know what I mean? Nobody holds me down for 3 minutes by accident.
That's something dead quick, what I mentioned to you in the group chat, when you, the advice that you were given last time on the crossface or the side control pressure. Yeah. That same advice, I remember you saying it to me years ago, because my pressure was half alright, but it weren't like, I can put these asleep. If they don't behave themselves, they're going to go asleep, yeah. And it was just the angle, just the drive on the shoulder, and stuff like that.
That's the advice on the crossface, isn't it?
Yeah. So you can be thinking you're doing something right for years and years, and then somebody will go, this is why you're not finishing your arm triangle, that was one. Or this is why you crossface, you can put people asleep with it. And you're like, fucking hell, yeah, that's what I'll do instead now. Them little bits.
Just while we're on you guys, so Kev, I wanted to ask you, because we did briefly broach this subject now, like with your progression as black belt. You mentioned on episode 6 that you thought you haven't broached the gap between the national and the international level.
Yeah.
And I feel like you might be a bit too old to do that now. But I'm wondering if what are your aspirations now? Have you given up on having international success at the highest level, or is that still part of your dream?
Yeah, essentially. I'll still keep competing, and once I regain the passion and the rhythm of competing again, I'll obviously go back to competing higher levels. I have a lot of students now as well, so I used to train a lot. I still do train a lot, but...
So I'm interested in maybe I wonder if there's a detail about yourself that you're missing, that once you have that realization will set you off on another
epiphany. You think there's a moment of epiphany away from getting better?
I'm sure there is, to be honest.
The biggest problem I have here is I've actually done it. Everybody wants to be like, Kev, you can be amazing, and you can do this, and you can do that. Well, hey, I've done it. I went out there and did it. Yeah. Nobody else has done it. I went out there and I got battered.
Yes.
I still like competing, but I have to be realistic with what I can accomplish now. What? It takes a massive toll on your mental health. You have to be delusional to want to be great. What stands between you and greatness is delusion. You have to wake up and be like, I'm going to shock the world today. I'm going to batter this fella. Everybody and the man knows is going to batter you. Yeah. And it's just life. And there's only so many times you can take that.
Yeah.
There is the other side of that as well. Like managing your expectations.
There's no such thing as managing your expectations. Managing your expectations is out there, mate. If you want to be great at something, you have to be delusional. It's that simple.
Are you comfortable with your vision for your path right now? Are you happy with your vision, or are you still figuring it out? Are you still up in the air?
Anything could happen. I could have a match tomorrow against somebody real good. It's just life.
Someone could put
a
seed in your head.
I'd still fight. Not fight. I'll do jiu-jitsu matches against everybody. I won't fight anybody.
He took that match at Grapple Fest last July. Is it Bart? The Bart lad?
Yeah. He took that on 3 days?
He was a purple belt world champ or something.
He was real good.
And
he was hot shit. I just wear.
You had a good match with him as well. You've almost had him out there, didn't you? I think you're a triangle.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I just straight up weren't asked.
Yeah.
I haven't been asked about jiu-jitsu since Mikey beat me. I still compete and I like competing.
When was this?
Fuck knows, 2 years ago
now.
Mikey who?
Mushimeshi. Was banged me, lad.
Was that a realisation thinking like,
the best in the world,
he's just so far, I've dedicated my last 10 years to this, and he's just...
I trained he's unbelievably hard for that. And I've competed against other real good people. Yeah. And they haven't done that to me. I can't remember the last time that happened to me. But then, that was the last time that happened to me. He absolutely battered me.
Kev, Mikey, Mushimeshi, a bit about him.
What about him? He's real good. Real good. Don't have it with him.
He's world champion, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a terrifying fella.
Yeah. Ranked number one FC.
Where's he from?
America. He's just living out. So, right, this is how much different my life could have been. After banging me, he went over to Thailand, banged him an Ari, 150 Gs, and now he lives out there.
He's
If I would
he's
have
the
won that match, that could have been me.
one championship.
But the biggest problem with that is I was so far away from winning that match. Do you know what I mean? He just banged me.
Okay, but were you?
Yes.
So far? Yeah.
Yes, I went out there in 30 seconds. He absolutely stole me soul.
And do you think, is there anything at all you could have done to have a chance at winning that?
No, I tried.
Would you have had to go back 10 years and do it all again?
I couldn't beat him.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I have.
I've got a couple of questions.
You can ask me? Ask me anyone.
So, your warm-up game.
Yeah.
You said to me, wrestle for the warm-up.
Yeah.
Because jiu-jitsu doesn't make you warm enough.
Yeah.
So for your warm-up,
Yeah.
all you do is wrestle, right?
Yeah.
So what if, because I would be interested to see how, if I, or a professional, gave you a set 25-minute warm-up routine where you go through step by step the whole body, rather than just rolling. We're talking about limbering, we're talking about getting every single muscle ready, so that when you, and building up the intensity nice and slowly, so that when you are ready to compete, everything's firing as quick as it possibly can. I wonder if there could be something in that, I'll cut this if you don't want it in, but I'm aware that you're a smoker.
Yeah.
So I wonder if stopping smoking could be another thing that will get you there. Strength and conditioning as well.
So part A, a harder warm-up.
Not harder, more effective.
More effective.
Like Olympic style, like
So
top
what I'm
class.
gonna say,
You're on about like a French prime and warm up, aren't you? That's going to get your body ready for doing what it's doing. All the fast twitches and engaged.
Yeah, connect that mind-muscle connection.
so my thoughts on this is I'm trying to not stress myself. If I'm doing a crazy warm-up that I don't do all the time, I'm going to stress myself. I do the things I do in the gym. Because that's what I'm trying to replicate. I'm trying to get my mindset as close to the gym mindset as I can. Do I think that could benefit me? Probably. But at this point, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 13 years. I know how to warm up. Sound. I've done it a million times. I've had a million matches. What's the next one? Smoking. My opinion on smoking. Smoking is a part of my life in the same way jiu-jitsu is a part of my life. It's obviously been reduced over the years, because I don't know if you know this, it was a fucking smack out for the weed. Like, a lot of people think of me as quite a heavy smoker, especially. I used to be a heavy smoker back in the day. I used to smoke all the time. It obviously has a mental effect. I'm just going to tell you, smoking too much messes with your brain.
Yeah.
Makes you go a bit weird.
I can relate to that.
Made me go a bit weird for a while. That's why I don't really smoke so much anymore. I still smoke occasionally, but I used to be smoking all day, every day, and it didn't make me any better as a person. But would I ever give it up? Eventually my life circumstances will change to the point where it's no longer viable for me to do it. But do you think I would have been better at jiu-jitsu without weed? No, because I would have been doing something else. And if I went intoxicated with marijuana, I would have been intoxicated with alcohol.
Which is definitely worse. You can roll stone, but if you're trying to roll after half a bottle of vodka, you'd be...
The biggest thing is the next day.
Yeah.
You can smoke, put it down. Hey, you're going to be fucked the next morning. You can have a stone over, like, but if I'm drinking, when I wake up in the morning, I ain't doing shit. I stink of booze. I can smell it, and
You're
it doesn't make me
dehydrated.
feel good.
From a strength and conditioning perspective as well, in terms of warm-ups, you want them to be specific to the sport as much as possible, especially if an athlete has a routine. Oftentimes it's more damage messing with it than to change it. I think it's interesting that you say that you wrestle for the warm-up, because it is pretty close to jiu-jitsu.
So the biggest reason why I like to wrestle is because you can engage way more muscles.
Yeah.
Also, lying on the floor is cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Just makes you so cold.
It's hard to be dynamic when one person's on the back.
Yeah.
Whereas if you stood up and you're pummeling, for instance, pummeling for a minute, get you warm, and then you can say you're
And then you
practicing
can
your
do more
shots.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But you just need to, that initial one, you need to have somebody sensible who's willing to just exchange positions with you.
Yeah. With that warm up, like pre-competition warm up.
Duffy's competed hundreds of times, probably more than me.
No.
If not
Competed
comparable.
plenty. Yeah. Competed plenty.
Active competitor.
Yeah. Since 2012, tried to stay regular with competing, and for me, I like to get a second wind, and also if I try and warm up on like in the mats or whatever they've got backstage, I'll sit down and I'll go through. Like I've said, I'll go through shit. That's what gets me warm. I'll go through stuff I'm doing in the gym. I'll start inverting, rolling around. And if somebody goes, you're on after these guys are off, you're next on. I'm not going to be warm. But if I grab hold of somebody, start pummeling, going in for entries, and then eventually building up my heart rate, I'll get my second wind then, and I'll feel okay. But if
Takes your mind off it as well.
Yeah. Takes your mind off what you're doing. Ideally, you want to be getting warm, start getting a sweat when someone goes, go ahead, you're on now, this is your music. Like, fucking sound. Good, nice and warm, feel good, not overthinking anything.
For me, the mental aspect's like the worst. Like when I'm competing, for instance, bearing in mind, it's nothing like you. You'll have a
It's the same.
super fight on the show, but I'm on, say, it's like an Empire. It's obviously it's different in terms of like number of people watching you, for obviously, but it's the mental side. Sometimes I'll like flap it and go, I'm not going to bother, because just the thought of it makes you feel sick.
Yeah.
It's like when I'll compete, like often I'll do quite well as well, you know, but I feel fucking sick. When I'm on there, I'm okay. Once I'm in, after the first 30 seconds, because part of me's thinking, what if I go there and then I get done in like 20 seconds and people watching, oh God, and it's like a realisation, oh, I'm shit, even though I know I'm shit, but you think, we're say when I was still a white belt, we're both white belts, we're still both shit, but he's a lot less shit than me. Fucking hell, I've been training for
You'll catastrophize everything.
Yeah. And it makes me feel sick. Like as in, like I'm gonna throw up. I get on, and afterwards I feel great. Like knackered, but I feel great. But it's getting there.
The initial 30 seconds, isn't it?
I love training. I love rolling, but it's
anticipation.
You sign up for a comp and it's 3 weeks out, and then every time you think of it, you wake up in the morning,
it's always creeping in the back
and you
of your
feel
mind,
sick, and you just think, what if I go there and I get.
Well, that's why it's important to put it in perspective, isn't it? And be like, no one's asked.
Comes back to what Greg was saying earlier. I don't love you anymore because you're a white belt.
I'm putting this on myself. I'm feeling this nausea. I'm feeling this overwhelming adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
Fucking a week, 2 weeks out. Because of this, because of my head. That's the only reason why. There's no fucking killers with a white belt round the waist in a fucking sports hall. Nobody, or blue belt.
Yeah, if I'm blue now, I'm not competing.
There's nobody there, so you don't have to. You just, and it comes back to having fun, doesn't it?
It might be. The first time, the very first time I competed, when I first started training, I got done. I got straight ankle up by a lad, and he was good. He was bigger than me. I was at the bottom of the weight class. He was bigger, but I said how long he trained. He trained for 3.5 years, and he trained judo as well. But he'd never got it. So realistically, he was blue belt. He was blue belt level, and I was there rocking up my first ever comp against someone who I shouldn't have been competing against. And it's disheartening when you go there, and it's like, how's he so good? And you realise it's probably because he should have been a blue belt a year ago. Yeah. And it's.
But it happens.
Yeah. It sets you off though, because he's thinking, well, he can only really compete as a white belt. 'Cause he's a white belt, and he's thinking, well, if he competes more, his coach might go, oh yeah, actually, I forgot about you. You definitely do a blue belt. But it's when it's your first ever experience competing. I never played sports as a kid, really. I played, but I never played competitively. And so it's the first time doing something other than sort of football in school, which is much different because you're in a team, you can hide behind everyone else to an extent.
It's natural to overthink it at that point.
And you get dominated by someone. It's like, I've been training for a year and a half. Why is he so much better? But he's been training for more than double the amount you've been training.
Comparison's the thief of joy. It's like you've got to compare it to yourself.
It's to a lesser extent. It's when you said completely different, but a similar sort of concept when you went against Mikey, where it's like you think you're black belt, you're good, and it's like this person's the same rank as me, but why are they so much better? And it's like, I know it's different, but it's the same sort of concept.
Exactly the same. So you feel exactly the same nerves I feel. I don't feel more nerves because the stage is bigger. It's exactly the same. We're doing exactly the same thing.
Because you're putting yourself out there.
Just is what it is.
Just think, the worst thing that can happen to you is you're going to get battered. No one's asked. It's at the end of the day, you're going to learn from it. You're going to benefit from it.
Oh yeah.
You're just going to go into there with hopes. I'm going to win. Try and win. If I don't,
I like the way the boxers think about it. It's like, even if you lose, you went out there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's real easy to sit on the sidelines and be like,
Mm.
oh, in the arena, you did this and this. And it's like, well, are you down here?
Exactly. Think about how many people who aren't doing it, and you're doing it.
How many people who are doing jiu-jitsu aren't willing to get out there?
Yeah.
How many people do we know?
I was going to say, everyone who trains jiu-jitsu should aim to compete just at least once, just do it. Just to feel what it's like, because it's the appreciation of knowing how it actually feels, and
This
people
is live
might
now.
love it.
Yeah.
It's completely you gas out faster because you're going. It's that you can roll as hard as you want, but you can't simulate the nerves, the adrenaline of having somebody else who is going 100%. They want to beat you. They want to get that little plastic medal more, and they're going to come at you with everything they've got.
Yeah.
You don't want to sing in the shower your whole life. That'd be my advice to people who don't compete.
And
You don't
Yeah,
wanna
the
sing in the shower.
karaoke.
The feeling when you
I
win
could
as
have been
well,
somebody.
it's
I've got a
fucking,
good
it's fucking
seven
brilliant.
release.
It's lovely because it's like
Well,
validation when you know I'm doing this and I'm getting okay because I've just went out and I've had 4 matches and won them all.
So
And,
there's
and you go, oh, well, okay, well I'm training hard, and here's a result for it. I know it's a shitty plastic medal, but it's
pat on the back, innit?
something to show.
Stepping outside your comfort zone.
So I heard something again about Olympic athletes. It's like divorce your kind of opinion of how it went from whether or not you won. Look at your own performance and go, did I try my best? Right? Did I apply the techniques in all the ways I could have done? You know, I mean, there's athletes out there who will win and they go, I could have done better, and that annoys me a lot. Or they lose, but they go, I tried my best. I literally couldn't have done anything better in that moment. My training was on point. Everything was on point.
At least
Such
you
is
can't
life.
regret and
Number
say
two
what if.
feels way worse though.
Pardon?
Number 2 feels infinitely worse when I've tried my best and it was fucking not even close to good enough. There's a million times in my life, like I talked earlier about when I had it with Bart. There's loads of people who've had it with lately, and my head's just not in the game. My head just weren't in the game. My head was in the game the other day. I had a competition in ASW the other day. That was the first time I've competed since Mikey beat me, where it could actually be asked.
I was talking about that the other day with him, just to interrupt the set, because I went there, so I was talking about the match, and it was like, you know what, it was, if anyone watched it, it was a perfect highlight for this combat sport in particular, because we've seen, I mentioned no names, but we've seen like guys that are over twice Kev's side. I'm on about like fellas that if you looked at them in the street, you'd think they was a pro bodybuilder. But they're not, because they've got a bit of a gas tank and they can grapple as well, do you know what I mean? Seeing them getting put fast asleep. I mean, triangles getting thrown up against where you think, I don't want to get stacked past by this big lump, do you know what I mean? And the next thing he's fast asleep, and just seeing him go through everybody. Like I said, there was a tournament, so it's like one match after the next, you know what I mean? Somebody might be close to his weight, somebody might be, like I said, over twice his weight, and all different body shapes and sizes. And it was nice to see, you know what I mean? It was nice to see that kind of game getting put to good use against big skilled guys.
If you want to see highlights of that, check out the ASW Liverpool Instagram. There's highlights of that.
A guy called Ben Pickles did a 10 out of 10 video out of it, to be honest.
He's so good, Pickles, by the way.
But real good. If you ever need some cinematography, like he needs a good video shooting, he's real good at it.
He's the one who's on the red mat,
Lads.
isn't he? And he's
Lads, he knocked it out
great.
in a day.
Because he gets everything in, but you'll get those close-ups as well, and you can
Good
see
recommend.
see people's faces. I did see you hit. I see all of the triangles you hit, and it just looked it just looked effortless. It was I forget who it was again.
I think.
You did,
You I'm sure it was a video and you triangled somebody, and it might have been the final match, but it just looked effortless. It was like I was looking at it and thinking the guy was on top. I was like, why are you letting that happen to you?
The guy I had it with in the
it's
final,
fantastic.
I'd already trained. I already know him.
So
I already knew what was going to
Well, that's
happen.
the thing on the local scene. Because you've been in it for quite a while now, it's you know everyone on the scene,
Yeah, if me and Matty...
and you're young enough to be able to hang with them still.
Yeah, it was me. It was against a guy called Matty Camilleri. He probably won't listen to this.
Yeah.
He's a next gen guy. He's real good at fighting, but I just ironed him out in jiu-jitsu. If we had a fight, it would have went completely
Well,
different.
he fights MMA, doesn't he? Is he
Yeah.
professional?
His wrestling's good, though.
Yeah, he's good. Matty's good.
Yeah.
But in jiu-jitsu, I was always going to bang him. In a real fight, he'd always bang me.
I've seen him at a couple of comps, and he's very nice, very respectful guy.
I like Matty. He's good people.
Yeah. Obviously, he's an MMA fighter, so it's a different style of grappling
Bang
altogether.
one of my mates called Harry. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I was going to mention, but
I was going to mention that
that was
one.
in a different rule set, really.
That was in MMA.
Did it sound old? That's what I
See?
mean. I think they were training together at the time, weren't they?
No, I think it was
after
just
that.
before.
It was after that, yeah.
Not McKnight.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's the point you're not supposed to say.
Oh, sorry. No. I just had to clarify that.
This was a long time ago.
Long time ago. In fact, I think it was at 66
70
kilos.
It was
it a
66,
seven? Yeah, I think it was a featherweight one.
Yeah, it was the thin boys back then.
So,
madness.
Matt was at a different gym before he joined Next Gen, then, was he?
I think he come over. I think he ended up
he's
with next
Maltese.
Is he Maltese, yeah?
Yeah, I think he ended up coming over and trained there because of the bout that he had. And,
It was good.
Yeah.
That happens a lot as well, where someone has a fight and they end up becoming like pals and training together.
Me and Ash Williams. Ash Williams taught me more about jiu-jitsu in 10 minutes than most people have taught me in my whole jiu-jitsu career.
Yeah.
But could that also be said that everything leading up to that allowed you to be able to learn it? Because if he said the same things to you he had said to me, it wouldn't have the same impact.
I had so much faith in something that he knew the answer to. So I was thinking A is the way forward, and he knew B was the way forward.
See, sorry to interrupt, but I remember this, and I remember me doing it and drilling it and having it in my arse pocket. I was still talking about the same HQ stuff, and him coming back in the gym. This is when I trained all the time with Kevin. He was my main coach. And I remember I was going through it, it might have been before class even, and he went, don't do that anymore, shit, doesn't work. I was like, fucking hell, I've been drilling this down now, man. I thought it worked the other week. Nah, look, just come back from fucking Ash Williams, please. This is the way to do it instead.
So tell us what it was, Duffy.
So, if I can remember right, it was some bit from HQ, if anyone...
We're in HQ. So how we used to set knee cups up was knee and hip.
Okay.
Do you remember? And
Yeah,
he used to tilt the angle on you.
Yeah.
And then I went, he passed me guard dead easy, and I was fucking super shocked, to be honest. And then I went down to Wales. Me and Harry went, loads of us went, it was a fucking belt time. He taught us, can't remember what he taught us, but we did a private. And I was like, hey, how'd you do this? He was very respectful of him, thinking about it, because he was like, hey, nice one for coming, Kevin, fucking lad, he banged me badge, you know. So I used to do hip and knee for knee cuts, and now we do HQ for knee cuts.
Yeah.
And that was the difference.
Okay.
So it was, what Kev was saying then is it was two different methods of setting up a knee cut pass.
Okay.
And one was obviously a lot more effective than the other.
Nah, I used to think leg locks were the way forward. I was, in my brain, I was going to leg lock him, and I had grabbed hold of his foot, and it just fell off. His leg just went, his legs like his foot like spaghetti. Yeah. And there was no way I was going to leg lock him, and it was like, hey, I haven't really got much else I can do. Do you know what I mean?
It's when it hits, like, there's nothing I can do to this person that does better.
How am I going to get on top of him? Like, he's good at wrestling.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say as well, so with that feeling for competing, like for me, when I've got a competition coming up, it's literally all I can think about. But I enjoy that. I enjoy thinking about it all the time, the lead up to it, and I feel nervous. Don't get me wrong, like the anticipation of what might happen. But what I'm telling myself is that's all part of it. The nerves. So like I'm engaging in this, I'm competing, and everything that I feel leading up to it, during the competition, afterwards, it's all a part of it, and that's what I want. So I just wanted to say
that's
that.
that's a good that comes with experience, I know, that took me ages to get to that point where I'm not overthinking everything.
Enjoy the moment, don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah, immerse yourself in it and understand why you feel it.
Accept it.
Accept it, Greg, it's good.
Nice. All right, so we've got one more match to talk about.
20 minutes later.
Yeah. Is that Ellis and Rhys?
Aye.
Yeah.
Nice. I keep saying that, nice rule, guys, and I've said it when it hasn't been, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, God.
Who was this, Greg?
You look like a bug. Yeah. Oh, a few. Okay, so, yeah, Ellis got the dub.
Yes.
On that one.
Aye.
You're relatively similar level.
I wouldn't say that. How long have you been training, Ellis? When did you get your blue?
Just under 2 years.
But when did you got? I mean, you've still got to be blue quite fast because.
So I can't even remember.
Last
Don't be looking
February,
at me.
wasn't it? Last February.
Maybe.
It was on my birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kev, give him his blue belt, by the way.
Yeah.
Kev doesn't know.
How am I going to know when I give a blue belt, lad? Ellis is just real talented. That's
Yeah,
just what it comes down to.
absolutely. I
You can
thought.
train as long as you want.
I thought last year when we first rolled, I thought you were a purple belt, and that's not me blowing something up his arse. It just genuinely, you can tell how someone moves and how they do things. If someone's more of a beginner or getting better and better, it's just how people feel when they grip you, and it feels like it's like they're made out of fucking metal, and it's just like you have people like black belt grips. Yeah. Someone gets a hold of you, and it's fucking you know that they're good. And it's. It's all relative.
You've been coaching a few times. Hey, I've been coaching for years at this point. I've never had anybody talented walk through my door. Some gyms just get super lucky and you just get talented people walking through the door. I've been coaching for years. Up until I had Ellis, I had nobody talented. And it weren't that I was a bad coach. It was just that I had limited talent.
Some people are naturally just
Yeah, they're just going to be amazing.
athletic.
Me, I could have went to any gym in Liverpool and I'd still be good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But some people can train as much as they want and they'll
They're just
never
limited.
be good.
They're just limited.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make me a bad coach because they don't want to be an athlete.
If anything, it makes you a better coach because it's harder to get somebody to get better if they're not as gifted. Whereas somebody like Ellis can learn so fast.
Talented people just walk in and wipe the floor with everybody else.
Like a sponge, just take everything in and just get
Just
better.
is what it is. Some people are just better and it's fine.
Onto the roll though, you were sort of locking me up with sort of car tie, and it was so hard to get out of it. I had to keep backing away because it was so hard to get into you because there is a bit of a size difference. I'm not sure how much you're weighing, but there was definitely you can tell
Massive.
there is a size difference there. And,
Come on, how heavy are you, Alice?
97, you said?
He's over at
96,
100.
95.
76.
Which is crazy because he's the same weight as me, basically. Because
Yeah.
I'm 96 as of this morning.
It's not just
That's the
that.
difference.
Ellis is more obviously knows how to use it as well.
No, he probably knows how to use it. There's just a massive skill difference.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think the
If
skill.
these were cars, he'd be a Ferrari. Do you know what I mean? You're not a Ferrari, no offence. Just is what it is.
Yeah. So I had to keep backing away
Just not in
to
jiu-jitsu.
break the grip because I think you went for a guillotine at one point and you went to drive me down for a guillotine.
yet.
And it's just the only thing I could do was back away because going toe to toe, it's just I'm going to lose that toe to toe battle. I think you ended up, I forget how we ended up getting to the floor. I think you basically threw me to the ground, and it kind of went from there where it was just you put a pace on me which I was constantly trying to fight it off, and I'd fight something off by the time. But then before I can think, let's try and get some offense on of my own. It's you just there, just constantly on me.
And that's what I mean as well with the collar ties. I was just constantly looking to snap your head because you're just thinking I want to get his hands off my head. I'll just keep doing that, making you think, and then I'll chain it with something because you're thinking about getting my hands off your head, but I'm just thinking about the next thing.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that.
Yeah, you're a step ahead there.
And then I'll transition into something else while you're still thinking about that thing.
It was so hard to fight it as well. So I had to keep backing away.
It's just constant
even
weight
that
on
was-
your neck. Your neck's going to be like...
I can feel it at the bottom of my neck.
That was nice to see, actually. There was a couple of bits in the match, obviously, when we were watching. That was one of them, being able to see. I touched on it before when I was saying about actions and reactions. Ellis was constantly putting pressures, constantly trying to break your posture down, constantly trying to get you to react to it, so then he could, like you said, he could move on to the next stage in that, depending on what you give him to react with. I'm sure that if he would have just bent over, double forward off the collar tie, it would have ended up in a similar way that my match. It's doing something, so it was like, that comes with experience, not just because sometimes people will go collar tie, or they'll go arm or they'll do something, but then there's nothing after it, there's no continuation after it.
What are you going to do next?
Doing this action but not knowing why they're doing it, so like hearing that and then seeing it before, that was nice to see.
One thing you showed real well is you showed resilience.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things you can have that you can never teach anybody. Just the will to win.
Heart, isn't it really?
It's just the will to win.
Yeah.
Even though you was getting battered, at no point did you throw your toys out the pram.
Well, there was one point where you had me muffled for a couple of seconds. Yeah. My reaction was, I think I giggled a bit to myself.
Never get me with that.
I find it funny where it's like it's horrible, but it's like I like it because it's little things where it's like you're doing your best, but it makes me feel good because at least it's like you respect my sort of like my grit enough to say, well, I need to make him feel uncomfortable because you had a couple of times where you had me in that sort of like side triangle position, you were almost in, and then I managed to sort of get out or take the pressure off, where it's like. Where some people might just go, I'm going to tap here because or just give up and not fight it.
He was doing the right thing. Like he was making me work. And then you didn't accept the position.
Yeah.
He was constantly trying to get out of it, and that's exactly what you
needed. When you muffled me, I found it funny. Where my first thought was like, oh fucking hell, I'm in a bad spot, but I quite enjoyed it because it was like the fact that you've got to do that is like it's almost like a show of respect in a way where you've got to use more tools in the arsenal, where it's like not just putting pressure on's enough, where you've got to try and make me really really uncomfortable. Yeah. I quite enjoy that. Where
for me it's a physical competition, especially fighting. Well, I only really like jiu-jitsu and shit at the other ones. So this is a scratch. This is an itch that only this specific thing can scratch. Do you know what I mean? Nothing else will compare to that. Do you know when you were saying, he's beating me up, but it feels nice.
Yeah. Because
You don't get that off anything
I
else.
realise I'm in a bad spot, but then you know that like you
I'm down. I'm not gonna
survive.
lie.
Yeah.
You ever seen Fight
surviving.
Club? You ever seen Fight Club? Like the first, I think it's everybody's got a fight on the first night,
Yeah.
and you realise that you're not made of glass.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can do it.
So,
Whereas if you were much more experienced and you go, oh, I'm gonna quit here, because sometimes you quit, but then sometimes you got to just grit your teeth and go, well, why don't I try and get out? And then the first couple of times you do, and then the third time it's like I'm there with my arm out, and I'm thinking I still trying to get out of it, and I think you kind of knew you had it, but I was like, oh, I can still move, I'm okay. I was obviously conscious of not getting my arm broken, and I trust Ellis to not deliberately hurt me.
that was something you showed, that was your best trait that you showed. And
Resilience.
that's the only trait that really matters, especially when you're not very good.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
you're lacking skill, you have to make up for with toughness.
Exactly.
Tenacity,
Yeah.
resilience.
If you're not going to be smart, you've got to be tough.
Sometimes you've got to just think, give it a few more seconds. Like you're not like I'm not going out, or I'm not in danger of getting something like absolutely snapped. It's like it's uncomfortable, but if I just hold on, can my position improve? Sometimes it doesn't, and then that's sometimes it doesn't.
There was a number of times it did, yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch that back because there was a few times where because you were just on top of me, like it's like you were people's like a wet rug where you're just moving around, just constantly on top, and it was just heavy, but it's like moving around, and it's uncomfortable. But then there'll be a little thing where you get sort of a bit of your guard back, and then obviously you pass the guard, and it's like, oh fuck, I'm done. You had a dart attempt. I managed to. I think at one point I grabbed the arm that was coming in for the dart. I think I grabbed your wrist and tried to put like a wrist lock on.
I felt that, it was good. And it just let go of that, it used that position.
You wouldn't have seen it on the camera, but he was getting this arm in for the dart, and the arm that was coming in across, I grabbed it and bent it.
And I had to pull away from that, so the dart was not in there.
And that was your heart. That weren't like your crazy technique that you had in the back pocket so in case somebody darts me.
It was hard work though, because having a bigger guy on top of you who's putting it on you and is good, rather than just lying on you, which Ellis knows what he's doing. He can attack you with legs as well. You're much better than me at leg locks. You know, you're flexible for a big guy as well, so you'll attack things like triangles as opposed to just being on top and trying to squash me. You kind of got the best of both, where you can put the pressure on, but also do the things which people go, it's more of a smaller guy's move rather than someone who's a bit bigger.
And that's what I mean. I prefer doing that when I'm going against someone smaller. Like, you know, I could easily sit in side control and just dig my shoulder into
squash me.
But I'd rather flow through the positions.
What's your gain from that?
Yeah, exactly. You just want to flow through positions and necessarily do techniques that, you know, big guys don't normally do. So if you can do them techniques on small guys, then I just think it's better.
I like that when people who are like bigger than the average are happy playing, say for instance playing off the back, because at all times you gotta consider, oh, I'm the biggest guy in the gym, I can just wrestle everyone, but there's going to be a bigger guy who'll have you on your back, and if you've never ever practiced getting up from the bottom, it's the moment you end up on your back, you're going to quit.
Yeah, I've got so Ellis was mainly dominant, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But there were times when you were stood up, Ellis was on his back.
Yeah.
But is it that on those times, it's not necessarily a back and forth, because for it to be like a back and forth, you would have maybe needed to pass.
Yeah, I'd need more offense, definitely.
You'd need more offense. So is it safe to say for that one that Ellis was dominant throughout the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the times when I got up, I'm thinking, like, because I've just survived in your brains, like, fucking hell, like, you're in that sort of, like, fight or flight where you're thinking, shit, I've managed to just get up, what am I going to do now? And then you're straight on attacking the leg locks, and I know you've got the leg locks, and then I've got to try and, like, the way I defend them is just kind of trying to, like, go it, get my other leg in so I'm not isolated. Because I think at one point you almost had the heel lock in and I just managed to get out. And then it's like, then you got to hold me and you can come back on top, and it's not, you didn't give me a chance to
just flow.
Chain and lower body and upper body.
Like it was hard because I couldn't get that moment to just kind of reset and then go. It was just you put a good pace on me.
That's where your mentality comes back into the fore. Do you remember when you were saying you're worried about not losing rather than winning?
Yeah.
You never got above zero. At no point was you above his zero.
Yeah.
You was never like leading. So when you started off on the back foot and you never got off the back foot, you showed unbelievable resilience. But your strategy could have been a bit better.
Absolutely. So it was as soon as I got up, he was just straight back on it again. And fucking
That's because you let him. You stood up and went, what happens?
Yeah. That's what I was about to.
I was thinking too much about what had just happened, and it just.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up then as well. Because when you were talking then, and I thought you could hear the mindset come out a bit. So So there was a number of times, I could be wrong, but there was a number of times then when you went, and we got to the leg, and I know that you got that leg lock, so you were, if I could put it out there was probably times when you're concerned more about what Ellis is going to do, or even worse, what he's about to do next, as opposed to, I'm going to impose what I want to do, and then let him try and figure that out. You know what I mean? So there was a mindset thing that comes in a bit as well. Obviously not taken away from your skill set and being able to get the sub, but that definitely comes in a lot as well.
Do you know what I mean? That's exactly, comes back to exactly what you were saying earlier. You was worried about not losing. At no point did you risk it all.
To win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing. That's the hardest thing to get past in jiu-jitsu. The fear of the unknown. Do you know what I mean? Because anything could happen when I try my best. I'm just comfortable losing by the narrowest of margins because I was expecting that. You can't be expecting that. Anybody who I walk in the mat where I think I'm going to bang everybody, and I've always thought like that. And that's why I'm any good. Because if I went out there with the mentality of, hey, he's got real good leg locks and he's got this, that and the other, I wouldn't be able to perform.
Yeah. So I've rolled with Ellis a few times before. I'm obviously aware that I know that he's much better than I am. Yeah. That's not me putting myself down, it's just how it is.
Yeah, when I was talking about how I trained with people and it was like, hey, I know I'm going to bang them because I've trained with you before.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
This is the opposite
even to the point, mindset-wise, but even to the point where I've been beat by somebody, I've been beat and their hand's been getting raised and I've been like, fucking like clapping them all. I know I can beat you. I fucking know that I can beat you. Do you know what I mean?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's have it again. I know I can fucking
beat you. Get one shot and on that one shot they were better.
Sometimes you get two. Or three. Yeah.
All right, gents. I think that's a good place to leave it. I want to say thanks to everyone for coming. It's a privilege for me to have you guys come on and do this with me. So, like I said, thanks again.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, same.
Brad. And
joy to be invited.
Pardon?
Joy to be invited.
Yes, excellent. The usual shout-outs. Shout-out to Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Gym in Aintree, to Sean and Kev for letting us use the space. Shout-out to Trident Martial Arts Gym for the training.
When you turn up.
When I turn up, I'm getting back Wednesday.
Good. I'll hold you accountable.
I want to say a shout out to RGA Chester as well for letting us use their space in the previous episodes. Guys, if you've watched up to this point, like, comment, subscribe, all that business. I've got to say that.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. And see you next time. And cut. All right.
Came alive.
Yeah,
Second half. Nice.
He's got on the mat, obviously, so it's different. It's
obviously, it's strategy.
Exactly. It's comfort zone, isn't it? You're on, you're more comfortable then rather than sitting there. You've been on and rolled, so now you're like, it's more like.
You did much better in the second half.
Well, fine, just didn't know what it's called.
Yeah. I enjoyed that.